Alright, I believe we're live here.
Stop.
We're going to check and see if we're live. And if we are, we're going to build this. Checking, checking, checking. It says we're live. I don't know if we're actually live or not. We will know here in just a minute. Yeah, we are live. Okay, so we are going to be building a 533 flip switch.
What do you mean, no power?
So this is what it came in. This did not come with it. I already done an unboxing on shorts. So there you go. You can see my face for a minute here. So I already done an unboxing on shorts in this packet. I got it for pickup, so I didn't get it unboxed or anything like that, or I didn't get a box or anything like that. I just got it like this, but I picked it up, so it didn't come in anything but this packet right here. I don't know what you'll get. This is the official 533 frame. This is not the one frame. This is not the prototype. This is the actual official one. So we're building that, and I've got some stuff here ready for this build video, and let's go ahead and unbox it so you can see what I'm working with right here. So there's the bag. It's an empty bag. Alright, and then we got the arms right here, and so here's one packet right here, and it comes with a QR code. Evidently this QR code will tell you how to build it, and it's nice and neat and packing it up. So we move this mic out of the way here. There we go. And then it comes with arms right here. So we got the arms, and we got that. Oh, and TPU. They gave me some TPU. I think it requires TPU for the build. And it looks like they gave me an antenna mount, which I'm making one. I've got one on the printer right now. So, and then of course my receipt. You don't need to see that. Alright. So they've got this special stack screw here, and this gives you the split deck is what they got. So I'm going to open this up here. I believe these are aluminum. They feel like they're aluminum. They're nice and flat. It's a good machining. You can tell this is done on CNC. It's got some neat grooves on the inside there. Alright. I had this. Of course I had opened this a little bit wrong here. Let me get a knife. I got a knife somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna find a knife. Here we go. I always got a knife laying around. I believe that's the top plate. And I'm not too sure what this is. This looks pretty neat. So we got some couple of bits of carbon here. I'm not too sure what they are. So since they gave me the QR code, I did watch the video on the prototype. So there's not a video out on how to build this. So I don't know if I'm the first one or not, but I ain't seen a video out on the official build. And so I'm going to do my build. And let's see. Alright, here's all the pieces here. And we're going to go ahead and see if anybody comes in. We're going to share this. So I'm going to go ahead and share this build video to everyone here. And you're seeing this all done live because I want you to see exactly what I go through here. We done one that was done with the Speedy Bee, and the Speedy Bee was it looked like a complicated build, but once you got it all figured out, it really wasn't that complicated. I made it probably look more complicated than it should have been, but you know, if they would just show a small small representation, I can't even say it word, a small diagram on where the standoffs go, then that would probably be idea right there. So I'm going to go ahead and post this. This is posted live right here, and I'm gonna, let's see, where else should we post it? Let's see here. Flight videos? I don't know. We'll do flight videos. This ain't really a flight video, but so we'll hit up Bot Grinder and we'll hit up Joshua Bardwell's videos pages. So we hit both of those up. Maybe we'll get some people watching. And we'll do one more, and that will be the Knoxville chat. Alright, so we got the Knoxville chat and the Maryville chat. So we got everybody that I can think of right now. They know I'm live, and I spelled flip switch frame farmy. It's a farmy video. Well, crap. How do I change that? Maybe, I hope that changes it live. I don't know if it's going to change it live or not, but I spelled frame wrong, or somehow frame got spelled wrong. There we go. Frame is now spelled right. Okay. So, I don't know if yours came like this or not, but mine is missing a standoff nut in the rear of it. And which I was warned that it was missing. So he sent me a video of how to fix that, and I'm going to do that live. So we're going to fix this press nut, and how you do that is you grab your press nut and you put it in the hole like that, and then you grab one of your screws and you pretty much just screw this in on one side. Grab your screwdriver and you hold your finger on the press nut, and the rigid side goes down. So when you're putting in a press nut, you got ribs. Those ribs right here on the edge, you just want to press that in. And once they're pressed in all the way, but you gotta tighten it pretty tight. Once it's past those ribs, it's done. And that's how easy it is to put a press nut in. And it shouldn't come back out. Yeah, it's good. It's in there. So now I got the one in the rear here. Those are going to stay. Those are not going to come out. Alright. Now, the way I see this done is, so this is the split deck. The small piece right here is the split deck. And then I think that this one or this one of these is the top plate. That might be the top plate, or that might be the top plate. I don't know. One of these is the top plate. We're gonna figure that out. And I've got the video, the prototype, pulled up here. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of cheat and look at it, but you'll get the idea here. So your standoff screws are going to be your longest ones, I would think here. Or your stack screws are going to be the longest ones. And on the prototype, they show that we got nylon nuts to put in your standoff, but I don't see nylon nuts, which is not a big deal. I'm just saying mine didn't come with the nylon nuts. So there's your standoffs right there. And I kind of think you should put nylon nuts on here, but you don't have to. I've got a whole box of goodies here, and we'll get into that later. But right now we just want to do the basic frame build. So the next part is these weird looking cutouts here. These cutouts go in the side, or go in the bottom, I believe. Yeah, they go on the bottom right here, like that. Well, if I can get them in there. There we go. They go on the bottom, just like that right there. And then, so this one right here, I don't think it matters which way it goes, but you got your bottom plate upside down with the press nuts on facing down. And then, well, monkey, this is going to go on there like that right there. So we got that little set right there, which is important why you want to go ahead and put your stack screws on there, because you can access them from here, but you can't put them on if you're using a 30 by 30. You can't put them on after the fact that you got this on. Alright, so you want to make sure you got those in there. And now you got the arm. So each arm is going to slide in and line up. And what they've done here is they've made the arm stack up on top of each other like this, which is pretty genius design. I really like this design. Let me see if I can put this down and show you. Get off me. Look at this right here. So you got your two arms and you put them together, and that's what locks your arms into place. And that's very, very smart. I really like that. That's a great design. So that is going to go on each side here. So you're going to take one, put it here, take the other one, put it right there, and then I believe you're going to get the longer looking screws. So let me find my longer screws here. Well, I'm going to have it all apart again. That's funny. I should have pulled the screws out of the bag before I started this. That would have been smart, wouldn't it? Alright. So you got two of these, which I think you're going to need these because they're the longer ones. And then you got, let me just go ahead and take all these, everything out of here. There we go. So now I got all my hands free and all the screws. Now I could be wrong here, but we look like we're shy on screws. I could be wrong, but it looks like we're kind of low on screws. I don't know. It may not be, which is a good thing if it's not, if that's all the hardware that goes in this frame. That's a really good thing, because the less metal that you got to put in this frame, the less weight that's going to be in this frame. Alright, so we're going to stick them back in there like they go, just like that. There we go. And that fits in there pretty cool. I like how it fits in there. And I'm not sure, this one right here, this screw, I'm just measuring the screws here. This one goes all the way through, and I've only got two of these, so that's interesting. And I've got four of these. So I think I'm missing a couple of screws here, guys, which is no big deal. I've got a box of screws sitting right beside me, but it's supposed to come with everything. So we're just going to go ahead and put these in. Put in what I got here. Okay, and if I turn this over, you can see that these screws, they're flush with the top here, which means I've got the right screws for sure. And I don't know if two of these are going to be standoff screws, so I could have two of these as standoff screws. Let me just go ahead and build what we got going on here. I think the ones on this side are going to be longer, so I'm going to go ahead and build these longer on this side, and I think the longer ones go on this side here. And I'll go back over this again and kind of summarize where all the screws go. That way I can be sure I'm telling you right, and it also be right. How's it going, Chris Miller? Nice to see you in the chat. Yeah, this is I've been waiting for this frame, and this is a nice Christmas present to myself. I actually got it during Black Friday, and been really excited about this frame. And I've been really thinking about the build also, and I got to go race with 533, which I done alright. I got first place in Nevada class, which I know it's just Nevada, but I got to build a tiny trainer, which I'm building this one again because I built it cheap the first time, and I'm going to build it again, and hopefully we're going to make it better this time. I'm going to build it live on the cameras, but the reason why I'm telling you this is because I got an idea of where their development is going towards, and what their idea is in their builds and everything, and I pay a lot of attention to stuff like that and pick up on stuff really quickly. So I got an idea for this frame and a build for this frame that I think is going to be best to suit a 533 build. So now we're going to move on to these right here. These are your front frame parts, and they're going to go on there like so, like that right there. And let me look here. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. Is that the inside? Okay. Alright. So the milled out part in the middle go on the outside. Just like that. You can see it there like that. And then of course those get screws in them. So we're going to go ahead and screw this on. And I'm going to use, I believe, the shorter screws. Let me see how far that goes down in there. I don't go too far down in there. Maybe it's these a little bit longer ones. That seems too long. Alright, so we use the shorter screws on the bottom here. And we might be changing those out, but I'm pretty sure those are the ones that go on the bottom here. Alright. Now that leaves this is my top plate here. And I believe these fancy screws or fancy stack mounts, they go on here and they look like a mushroom when you put them on here. And I'm just going to hand tighten those. Just like that, right there. So those are hand tight. Alright, so I was wrong about one thing. I can already tell that the one thing I was wrong about is there is no solid top plate. So you only get the split deck design, which is not a big deal. It's just I know the prototype, it came with two different plates, and you know, really I was thinking, well, if he really likes the split deck design, he should make his drone be the split deck design and not worry about sending two top plates in, because people don't, you don't really want a bunch of stuff extra laying around and being like, well, where did this go? So I don't know, let's see here, that seems kind of long for that one there, so we're going to take that one back out and use a shorter one, because I don't think that one goes there. I think this one goes there, like this. Alright, that one's on there. So that looks much better with that one on there like that. And then the 533 on top of that. That's not bad at all. That's actually a pretty easy frame to build. Oh yeah. So this right here, that's interesting right here, because the reason why I'm saying this is interesting is because this part right here, you know, they could have made this just slide down on top of that and go in there, and I know why they didn't now. So this with the TPU on top of it is kind of creating a dampener for your video footage. So when you put this on top, oh, look here, they even thought about that. That's pretty cool. So I didn't know which way to turn this TPU. They've got a little lip on it, and I was like, what's that lip for? And I'm pretty sure that is a bumper for your battery. And they got nice beveled edges on these. So they beveled their edges a little bit, and you can kind of tell, I think they beveled it. Let me look here. Yeah, it looks like one side is a little rounded. It might just be the cutout of it or the routing of it, but it looked like it was kind of beveled to me. Alright, so now we got two holes here, and that means these two standoffs go in there. Alright, so I'm thinking these longer screws were meant for that, maybe, and this might be meant for the middle to lock it in. But that makes me wonder one thing here, and that's if this one is made to lock this one in, which it fits, it makes me wonder why they didn't make the other one the same as these two front ones for those standoffs. Why would you want two longer screws in the back here? So that's the only thing that I see that maybe I would have done different. I don't know. I can't get that one in. Let me move it up front here. Sometimes it's better if you loosen up both sides here. Well, alright, so now I got these arms loose somewhat. They fit in there really tight, so I was thinking that so that's loose and that's loose. Alright, so both of them were loose. So this middle screw should go in now. Which it is. Okay, that's good. Alright, so you see here, I'll go ahead and take it back apart. So you see these screws, they stick up just a little bit past the press nuts here. And I thought there would be 4 of the same screws for all 4 corners of the arms. That's what my thinking would be. I could be wrong. But I received 2 of the longer screws. So I'm guessing they want these 2 longer screws in the back. They do. Okay. That makes sense. Alright. So, it wasn't them. It's me just overthinking this and not actually putting it together like it's supposed to be put together. Alright. So, we got 4 of the longest screws go in the 4 corners. That's a fact. Sometimes you can't think about it, you just gotta do it. Because you'll overthink it, and sometimes it just works. It just works out. Alright, so we didn't have to take too much apart. So I'm going to loosen those up so I can get my middle nut, my middle screw in. So 2 of the medium screws go in the centers of where those 2 arms join together, and that's a fact. Now this one does not want to start for some reason. I can see it on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on it. There we go. So now those are locked in. I could tighten all 4 sides up firmly, or all 6 screws on the bottom up firmly. Alright, those are set. So your longest on the corner, your next to longest in the middles, and there's your 6 on the bottom here. Alright, you got your mushroom stacks. I want to call them mushrooms. They go on the front corners, on top of where the arms are at. Alright, and then we know this goes up top here in the front like that. Oh yeah, and then your other stack screws go on each corner here. So you got 5 stacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 of them are special, and then you got the camera mount that serves as a stack also. All right. Then you got your top plate here, and your top plate has 3 screws in the back that are recessed, and then you have your TPU that goes over there with your bumpers facing this way. Is my educated guess here. And then this locks into place. So yeah, I think your bumpers are for your battery to sit against there nice, and you don't have to worry about it cutting your battery. You don't have to worry about, because carbon is kind of sharp on a battery. I think that's going to work just fine, and I'm just going to tease them in until they don't tease anymore. So like that right there. So you got the 3 and then the 4. So that was right. The 2 shortest round head screws goes in the front here, and then you got 4 of the same that goes in your camera mount, and 3 of the flat head that goes on this. And let me tell you what I noticed about this frame already. What I noticed about this frame is a lot of circular edges, a lot of round edges. And that's going to really help on making this frame rigid, making it strong. All these round edges is going to make it strong. Now, I've also noticed where these screws go, it's really beefy around these screws. There's a lot of material on all the way around this screw. So that's going to help also to keep this from breaking at this screw. So if we look at the unbreakable tank frame, so that screw hole on the tank frame is really close to the edge right there. This one there's a lot more material with that arm. Now let's see how hard it is. So to change an arm, you're going to have to take out this middle screw here, and then whichever arm you break. Let's say we broke this one here. Oh yeah, it'd have a screw in the top already. So let me go ahead and put one screw in the top and the one that I'm taking apart here. Alright, so to change this arm out, we take the middle screw out and the corner of the arm screw out, and then slide that out. It ain't too bad to change an arm, but if you look right here, there's a lot of material, and there is the center of where that screw goes right there. So that's really nice that you have quite a bit. It's like 1/4 of an inch from the screw to the side, 1/4 of an inch this way also. So that's going to really be good on being durable, I think, in my opinion. But we're going to find out for a fact, because we're going to put this frame to its paces, and I'm just showing you what I noticed. I'm not going to theorize that this is going to be better than this or that. I'm going to basically say that it's looking good. I like what they got going on here. The idea is looking good. So now let's get on to the build. We've got the frame. We know what's going on with the frame. And this guru building the dang thing wrong again. The dang medium size goes in the middle. Medium, middle, long, outside. There. Good grief. Won't you do it right? Great Scott. Ho ho ho. How you doing, Great Scott? How you doing, buddy? Wow, is my live stream that far behind? Okay. There we go. So, now let's move on to the build. Now, the reason why I said that I kind of studied what they got going on here is because I've noticed what they put in their tiny trainers, in most of their drones. They've got AIO boards, which makes it nice and lightweight. You got less components to deal with, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus towards an AIO board. Now, another thing I've noticed here is if you got analog, you could possibly put a module up front here. And if you got walk snail, you might be able to put a module up front here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here's my walk snail module. Will that fit up here? Wow, that is so close to fitting up front right here. And the reason why I'm looking at this, gosh, it is so close. I literally believe that little hump right there it might just, if I loosen that up, that might just slide down in there, which would be great. And I want to tell you why. Because all these walk snail modules, they come with short swords. Swords. It ain't a sword, it's a cord, dummy. Short cords. Good grief. Get out of here, tank arm. Alright. There we go. So now let's see. Will that fit? I want it. It'd be like, oh my gosh, that's like magic. Look at that. Holy moly. That just blows my mind right there. I know they didn't mean to do that. Don't tell me you meant to do that. There is no way you meant to do that. Look at that. It locks it into place. What in the world is going on? There's no way you meant to do that. There's no way. You got to be kidding me. Look at that. That's where that belongs. There's no other place for it. That's blowing my mind. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. I gotta rip a vape. I gotta have a vape. Where's my vape?
Here.
I'm gonna rip it. Thank you. How did you steal it? Where'd you get it at?
I'm good like that.
That ain't a rip. So how's it going, guys, in the chat? Nice to see you guys here watching. We are fixing to build a build here. And let's see here what we got. We have the Newbie Drone Infinity AIO with ELRS already attached to it. And then we have Walk Snail. And then we have Velox V3 by T-Motor Velox V3. So that is our build right there. Look at all them screws. I'm going to have to make sure I get all them screws off there, because that could be bad. So that's what we're going to build. And I bought a longer cord for the camera. And what I wanted is this longer cord right here to actually go across for my camera unit, but I don't even need it. I don't even need it. That's crazy. That's nuts. You don't even need it. You don't even need a mount. This thing is not coming out. It's stuck in there like that. That is crazy. That's nuts. You guys didn't mean to do that. There's no way. Alright. Now that my mind is officially blown on this frame, let's go ahead and we need some nylon nuts. So I'm going to dig in my little treasure box here and find me some nylon nuts. I'm just going to dump out this treasure box a little bit. Maybe we'll come across one before I dump the whole thing out. And of course, I mixed my other ones in there. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and get them out of the way. I think that was it. Oh well, if it's not. I got plenty of them. Ain't like it really matters. Alright. So I need if I was going to say add one thing to this frame build, it would be those nylon nuts for your stack. There's one. Yay. Two more. There's another one. Any build you do, be sure to keep everything. If you take apart a DJI FPV, you can build 3 drones, I guarantee it. Because they give you enough screws for 3 drones. Alright, I need one more nylon here. I think this one's metal. Yeah, this one's metal. Let me see here. There's got to be another one in here, surely. There's a clear one. I don't want to use a clear one though. I want to be picky and use a. I want everything to match. Is it okay to be picky on this? You know, I took a drone apart today, and I don't even know what I've done with the freaking parts. Because it had 2 nylon nuts in them. That's probably where my... There they are. Oh yeah, bingo. Right there. Alright, we got our nylons. So let's get all this other crap out of the way again. And yeah, this is what it's like building a drone. You're going to have crap everywhere. So, if you want to be all nice and neat and organized and not lose anything, good luck. I ain't seemed to find a way to do it. Unless you got just exact enough for the build. I find that you always need something. There's always something that you need. So when I take it apart, I take everything that I don't use. Everything that's broken, I reuse. That's the way I go about it. If you're watching this build, I'm glad you're watching. Welcome. Got any questions? Feel free to answer your questions. Alright, there we go. Let's get some of this out of the way here. Alright. So we got the infinity stack here. And he told me that he likes his power cord up front on his. If they designed this thing to have the power cord up front. Now, let me look at that. Because when I look at this, and I got my power cord up front, that's where, so he said his power cord's up front, so his battery wire loops around this way. So here's our battery. It's going to be like that, or it could be like that. And then saying that it should plug in like that. Well, what happens if it's turned the other way here? You got 2 holes here. And I've got a lot of room back here that's unused. And I could put, yeah, I'm going to do mine like this because I could put a big capacitor in the back here. And I'm all about having a giant capacitor. It's kind of the one of the tricks of having powerful motors on this thing is having a nice, decent capacitor that reduces all the noise and takes out all the AC electric out of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and install these stack screws. These stack nuts, nylon nuts. There we go. Now the reason why I don't use any electric tools, which I've got electric tools, I got drills and all kinds of stuff. The reason why I don't go that route is because I tend to over tighten everything whenever I use electric tools. And I definitely don't want to do that. It's nice they made all the standoff screws separate from the arms, so you don't have to mess with your standoffs when you're wanting to replace an arm. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm just putting these nylon nuts on this drone here where the stack goes. My stack is a 30 by 30, so I'm using the 30 by 30 stack spot here. And I've got 4 nylon nuts, which I'm going to mail them, or I'm going to message them and tell them don't forget the nylon stack screws, because that needs to go with the build. That makes them solid. They're on there. Alright, now first off, I don't know anything about this Infinity, so I am going to do a couple of tests here to see a couple things on my own. And I'm going to do a continuity test. That's where you put it on, where you touch the ends, it beeps. And what I'm wondering is if this right here grounds out. That is a no. That does not ground out. What about any of the motors or anything at all? Does this beep on anything at all? Does it even? Okay, so it is conductive, but as far as it being having continuity on anything, it does not have continuity. I wonder if it's got continuity this way. Just out of curiosity here. No, it does not have continuity going this way either. Now, does the top is metal also, isn't it? Yes. So, do I get any continuity on the top? No. No continuity on the top. Now, let's check. There's 2 screws on here, maybe. On these 2? Nope. Not on these 2 screws. Let's check these U-arts and these grounds and everything. Nothing. So, nothing is... So, if this grounds out on the Infinity, you don't have anything to worry about as far as it coming alive and jumping over to the carbon and all that. Alright, that stack fits on there nice and neat. That looks like it belongs on this drone. I'm sorry, but it does. That thing looks pretty on here. So now what I'm going to do next is, you see this wire. This wire is gigantic. There's no reason for this wire to be gigantic. So first thing I'm going to do is make this wire shorter. So I'm going to pull back my I got that song stuck in my head as soon as I said Maya. Go pull back this shrink wrap is what I've been trying to say here. I'm going to unsolder this. So since the last build, what I done is I was using this gas soldering iron, and I went and bought this from Harbor Freight right here, and it's got a 2-year warranty on it, and I've already burned one up since I bought one in like I think I burned it up in like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But this thing gets really hot. It's like 800 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, them other ones that plug into your battery, they're all nice and everything, but I really like this one because you could just touch it and go. You don't have to worry about everything or anything at all. Alright, so we want to position this perfectly. I want this drone to look beautiful. So that means I am going to solder them flat, and they're going to go in there just like that. And you know what? I think I had a black one here. Huh? What? Yeah, bring me a Gatorade. Well, actually, no, get me a coffee. And I reckon that's it. Just get me coffee. Huh?
Cold?
Yes. Cold one, please. Pretty please. I didn't want to look in the junk drawer, but I'm going to anyways because I think I had a better XT60. So, got a bunch of shit in here, bunch of junk. I seen a black XT60 the other day, and this is where my craziness freaking OCD comes in. is I keep all this crap in here and know it's in here. And as soon as I get this drone bell, I'll be like, dang, I wish I put that one on it and not this other one. So I give myself a time limit. I'm going to say, okay, if you can't find it within this long, then it doesn't belong on the dang drone. That was the soldering iron we was using last time. That's good out in the field, but here on the bench, it's not good. Huh?
You talking to somebody?
Yeah, sure am.
Who?
I'm making a video.
Okay, then. Good night.
Good night. Okay, we're done. I'm just putting this one on there. Okay, I'm done looking through the freaking drawer. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Alright, so this should be pretty warm now. Now, this is going to be a test drone, which means I want to do reviews on this drone. So, what I'm going to do is, I got these neat little T-motor wires, I guess you'd call them plugs, these T-motor plugs, and they're going to go on there like that. I believe that's the best way to do this. Yeah, that's going to look, well, I don't know. Tell me if anybody thinks that these plugs will reduce your power or anything like that. I don't know. That makes me wonder if something like this could limit your power to your motors. I know it sounds silly. Why would T-Motor make these things and it actually reduce the power to your motors? Is that a thing? Alright, I'm not going to use them because now I'm paranoid about limiting power. If anybody knows, put it down in the chat and tell me, oh, it makes no difference, or yeah, you don't want to run them because you're going to have problems not getting the full power output of your motors. So if anybody knows that answer, let me know. And because I am now curious about that. So we're leaving them off. Now, I have seen people put the female end on this side and the male end on the motors. This is another thing. So, and I've seen people do it the other way. I've seen people put the male end on the motor, on the stack, and the female end on the motors. And so Rotor Riot, if I go and look on Rotor Riot right now, if we go on Rotor Riot, type in T-Motor, they have a build already made. And it shows the males coming out of the motors. So, you know, that's kind of weird to me because everything pretty much plugs into your flight controller. So making something that you plug into a motor, you think you'd want to plug in your motors to the flight controller. So let's go to 533. If we go to 533 and we looked at their electronics, we look at their flight controllers, they got some pre-solders here. So their smaller pre-solder build, it's got female coming to this one right here, this exact one. So it's got the motor plugs come off of this, and they're female. So that's interesting. We need to come up with a standard on that, on which one to use, male or female. Let me look at their other one here. So that's the only one that I actually see with the motor plugs on it, is their AIO, and it's female. I believe their other ones also had that, and it was I seen another video and it actually had the male motor plugs. Let's look at their motors. Their motors should tell you, right? So their motors have the female ends on them. MR30s is what they're called. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow Rotor Right's got the males coming off, and 533 has the female ends on the motors. So that's what we're going to do also. Alright. Sorry to make it all complicated and everything. I like to know what the thinking in that is, because if it was me, I would want it plugging in. I'm missing one thing here, one important thing, and this is flux. There it is. Okay. Alright. So we're going to take the flux, get the ends in flux, just a little bit. You don't need much, especially if you got a nice soldering iron like this one. It's got higher heat. You want to make sure you got the positive and the negative. So my negative is on the right side. So I'm going to do it like this. And then I want to go through my frame like this. So we're going to go ahead and go through the frame. I'm going to take my soldering iron and I'm going to put a little bit of solder in my iron like this, and then go to the furthest away and then I'm going to hold it there until we get it on and down into the other one. Do the same thing. If this takes you a long time, more than 3 seconds, then stop and give it a rest. Do not be afraid to stop and give it a rest, because if you heat this up too long, you can desolder the microchips inside of the flight controller or inside of the ESC. You don't want to do that. You can always go back and touch it up, make it look nice, just like that. And there we got nice soldering done, just like that, right there. Alright, that's exactly how I want it. Let's get this plug situated here. This Weller soldering iron is really nice to be using. I definitely recommend it because you can get a 2-year warranty on it. You know, I'm not paid by them or nothing, but you burn this out, you got 2 years to use this until it burns out. It's not going to last me 2 months. And that's any soldering iron. I go through soldering irons more than anything, probably. Alright, so I want this plug to be way shorter. So let's go ahead and just trim that sucker off. Not all the way down, but pretty far down. We'll leave about an inch on there. So that's how much I got. That's like 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to take each end here, and I've got fingernails, so you can just take your wire pliers and you just want to strip a little bit off. I got a little bit too much on that positive one. Just want to strip the wires that you need. This one's got 4 wires, so I'm going to be using the white, yellow, black, and red for the wax nail. If you look on your AIO, it's got a label on the top of it here. This is the Newbie Drone Infinity. This matches 10 volts here, ground black, and then TX yellow and RX white. So you're going to switch RX and TX. So we'll dip that in flux. Put some solder on your tip, and you want to just touch each one just like that. Now we got that nice in flux. This side is already fluxed, so now I want to take my shrink wrap. I'm going to take the smallest tubing that I have here. I need 4 pieces of this tubing. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of this tubing. You can do that with a pair of scissors or a razor knife. I've got a pair of scissors right here. And you just need 4 small pieces. Alright, there's 4 pieces. And we're going to take those 4 pieces and we're going to slide them onto the wires here. Pretty simple. Pretty easy. Alright. So I'm going to dip my ends in flux again. Now, my tag says RX is white. My flight controller says RX is white. So the white is going to be on the yellow. So I'll do the farthest away first on this, and that is my ground. Then my power wire. And then white to gray and yellow to white. If they don't stick, get some fresh solder on your iron. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. Sometimes you need a little bit more flux also. Fluxing both sides will not hurt. Alright, now I'll show you what I'm doing here as best as I can possibly show you. But here I got my wire. Here I got my flux on the wire already. Get some solder on the end of your iron. And you want the white to be on the gray on this build. It's going to be TX to RX and RX to TX. See if we can do this. This is the closest as I can get it, guys. There you go, just like that. All I did was touch it. Now that we got our 4 wires soldered, we are going to take our torch or heat gun. If you have a heat gun, use your heat gun. And we're going to slide this shrink wrap over the bare parts of the wire here. And I do one at a time because I want it to be just in the right position here. And all I'm doing is sliding the shrink wrap over the bare part, heating it up a little bit, doing the next one. Get both sides. It doesn't take much heat. You don't have to put the flame on it. You just need enough to make it shrink. Now I'm going to take those wires and I'm going to twist. Then what this does is it keeps you from having interference or noise in the wire. Keeps it nice and tight. You can also put a bit of shrink wrap on it. I think it's fine just the way it is. Alright, now our flight controller here, it needs a capacitor. I am going to see if I got a brand new one in here. That way I can show you. Exactly what to do with a new capacitor. Okay, here's a brand new capacitor here. So my capacitor, I want it to lay this way towards my wire, like that. Your stripe on your capacitor is your negative side. So you can always add more to it. I mean, you can always cut more off, but you can't add more to it. So keep them long and kind of measure as you go. You just take a little bit off as you go. Keep them nice and even. And I'm going to do mine just like that. Now some flight controllers, they have holes in them that you can put this on and mount them in the holes and solder it, but I'm sure this one does too, but I didn't use the holes. Oh well, it ain't no big deal. As long as it's soldered on there pretty good. Give it a wiggle test. Give that a wiggle test. Everything looks great on that. Alright, so now we're going to be measuring for our wires. Our wires and plugs. So if you keep this thing where you can detach it, you can kind of work on it a little bit easier. Taking it on and off is a whole lot easier. So I'm pretty happy with that. Oh yeah, pretty happy with that result. That looks great to me. Everything fits really nice. The capacitor is a little tall, so I could have left a little bit more wire on that capacitor, and I think I should have. When you buy capacitors and you want to do fast builds and you're going to buy more than one capacitor, so you can also put your capacitor on leads, but I heard that they don't work as well like that. So it's up to you whether you want to put them on leads or not. I'm sure I got another one in here somewhere. Looking through the junk again. There's a capacitor. Just not happy with, so if you look here, I put it on, it just sticks up a little bit, and I should have left it a little bit longer to go back, you know. So I got another one sitting here somewhere. There it is. Oh yeah, That's what we're going to do. Now, when you use longer leads on your capacitor, it's I've seen this done a few times, and I kind of recommend it. You want to put TPU. You want to put shrink wrap on your leads. So we're going to make this one longer because I want it to sit perfectly in the frame. I'm going to take me a couple pieces of shrink wrap. And I'm going to cover the lead with shrink wrap. I'm just going to leave the end exposed, so you can kind of fold it over to get an idea and mark it with your finger. And this looks like it just needs to be cut in half. So I'm going to be cutting that right in half. Put them on each end. It looks beautiful. This one can use a little bit more off of it. There we got that. Go ahead and shrink them on there. Remember, you're not getting the flame, you're not setting it on fire, you're just heating it up. Dip the ends in a little bit of flux. I'm going to take my board back off. A little bit of solder on the end of your iron. There we go. Do it again. That looks beautiful. Now, this should sit a whole lot better. Oh yeah. That's exactly what I wanted right there. That looks a whole lot better. It fits perfectly. Yeah, I'm much happier with that. Alright. Onto our motor wires. I've got a bunch of spare motor wire. Anytime that I cut a motor to go on my frames, I keep the wire. And it really comes in handy, especially when you're using motor plugs. Now, something I've noticed is if you can turn that wire 90 degrees. For some reason, you get really good pin tunes with that wire being straight up and down. So if you go ahead and turn it 90 degrees before you solder it in there, then you're going to get better pin tuning, or better pin loop, better black box logs. And also, I've seen a lot of people loop their wires around their standoffs. You can do that also if you want to keep it all nice and neat and tucked away. But when you go to solder this in, you want the wire to be exactly how it's going to be when you solder it in. Like which way you want it to face and everything. You want to kind of like make the wire in the shape that you want to look before you solder it in. Because once solder gets to flowing down through that wire, it's hard to get the shape that you want if you're doing a nice and pretty build like I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make all my builds a little bit prettier, a little bit nicer around the edges and everything. Just like that. And you just need the tip of your wire I'm turning on mine 90 degrees and stacking them up beside each other here. Taking my time with this because I want it to look pretty. No other reason. I could throw these in if I wanted to, but I want mine to look pretty. Every build I do, I normally just throw everything in. And I'm like, you know, it'd be better practice if I just start making them look good and just get faster at making them look good. Because I know I can make them look good. So I should just stop throwing crap together and oh yeah. And I'll go ahead and show you what I mean here. If you look at those wires, if you can see them, they are nice and straight. Oh yeah, that's gonna look clean. So my flight controller, it feels nice and cool. There we go. Just wanted to get that one a little bit more cleaner than it was. There we go. That looks great. You know, it really tells when you install this thing with a little bit of love, you know, instead of just wham bam, thank you ma'am. Oh, you older guys will know that saying. Oh yeah, that looks great. See, I can move this one out just a tiny bit here. And this one in just a tiny bit. There we go. Look at that. I'm really happy with that side there. That looks really nice. Alright. So we'll do the other side the same way. Alright, so continue on here. Now what I've done different on this build than I normally do is I normally go ahead and start the solder flowing through my, but this one is nice and hot, so I think I'm good doing it like this. It makes it all the difference in the world is having a nice hot soldering iron. I notice this wire is a little gray, so I'm going to leave it out. I don't want to match. There we go. And I feel great about that. I'm just going to go ahead and get all these wires ready. You know, it's been a little bit easier to solder like this too, with them going ahead and bend them where I want them. Beautiful.
Just like you.
Just like my wife. So beautiful. Alright. So, here is the key. Once we're done with everything on the flight controller, we're going to take an alcohol wipe. We're going to take this thing off. And we're going to go everywhere we soldered. We're going to go over it with this alcohol wipe. And I want you wiping everything off. This is very important. You do not want to leave solder or flux on the board of any kind. I don't care if it says you can leave it on there. Still don't want to leave it on there. I want you guys wiping that off thoroughly. I've seen people say, I just soldered this together and it was perfect. It looked nice. It looked pretty. I didn't do anything wrong. And something has shorted out in it. And that is probably from not taking the time and making sure everything is nice and clean. All I'm using is an alcohol wipe. If you look there, I'm pretty happy with that. That is all nice and clean on that side. Do your power leads the same way. This will also tell you if anything's loose. If you're scrubbing away on this and you feel something come loose, you know that, hey babe, is that pick still in the bathroom?
Now what?
That pick? That little needle?
There you go.
Thank you. If you see any crud or anything like that, be sure to pick it out. Anything that looks black or anything that looks like it's not supposed to be there. This one I had a little bit of black from the off gas of the solder, and what that is carbon, and you don't want carbon to build up on any electronic parts, because if you have carbon build up, that carbon is a conductor. If it builds up, it could cause an electrical explosion, a miniature electrical fire, and it, most likely won't do anything but mess up your components. So the bottom of the board actually looks pretty nice. I'm still going to go over it. doing this kind of like shows that you got pride in your work right here, and you want it to last for a very long time. People that do this right here are doing their builds right, I feel like. Even if it says you can leave it on there, I don't leave it on there. If you want it to last a long time, this is what you'll do. And this is going to be our review drone. We're going to review motors. And I've got a lot more motors that I'm reviewing. So, this thing has to last for a while. Because I'm going to rip the crap out of it. Alright. Look at that rag right there. Look at that. Look how nasty that is. That all came off. This was white, and it all came off this board right here. And if you look, it's all nice and clean on that side. It's all nice and clean on this side. I see a little black spot here. That's fuzz. Now this Nubie drone AIO board is nice. It's got kind of got a barrier in between the pads and the chips inside, so that's pretty cool. It not only acts like a heat sink, but it also acts like a barrier. I really like how this is built. But there we go. That part is done. Now, the reason why I was checking for any continuity on the bottom of this board is because if I had any continuity, which means if I could take my tester and put on this board and put on any other pad and it beep out, that means that I need to protect this frame with Kapton tape, insulation tape. And the reason why you want to do that is if you have a crash and you jar this drone, the board could short out to the frame, which I don't have any continuity on any of this, so I don't feel like that's going to be a problem. Alright, now I'm going to situate everything like I want it to be. I like it like that. Need my antenna in there. I believe I'm going to do my antenna like this on the front. Alright, I got my receiver antenna on the front. Now I'm going to tuck these wires for the receiver up underneath the board here, because I got plenty of room between the board. There we go. Well, that didn't stay in there. I was kind of hoping it would stay. And I started putting both my receiver wire and my receiver antenna and my box nail antenna up front, because on drones that I'm going to take in longer ranges, the reason why I do that is because if I'm going one way and then I turn around, I'm going to get the best reception when I turn around, and that little bit can always help. Alright, so I'm going to twist this up as best as possible here. And I believe I'm going to run it underneath like that. I might just make all this one right here just all go in the back. I don't plan on making this one a long range drone. But you still have to get good penetration through walls and stuff like that if you're at a bando. So we'll see what it does like this. Now, if you notice, I ran that wire underneath and not on top. I've done that for a reason. It's because Chris Rosser says that if you run your wires on top of your flight controller, that it can mess with your gyro. So I try not to run any wires on top and run it all on the bottom. Now I'm going to twist this camera wire until I can plug it in here. And it looks like it goes that way. There we go. Now my flight controller needs to be mounted down, so I am going to grab some more nuts out of here. And I didn't even think about that when I had it all dumped out, so I'm going to dump it out over here. That way I got some more room. Looks like I'm going to have to get some more plastic nylon nuts, or just run the metal ones. Might just have to go with the metal ones here, because I am not finding enough to do this with. Need one more. I know you're in there somewhere. Alright, let's see what we got here. I got these two. Oh yeah, that's gonna fit good like that. And then I got these two. Get out of there. So if you're building, it's always nice to have this little 7/32 around. I think I went a little too tight with that one. So you want to be able to push it down a little bit, have a little bit of wiggle to it. You also want to make sure you're not pinching any wires or anything, which I'm not too crazy about that one wire there, considering this side is not pushed down all the way. Yeah, so I don't feel like my build is pushed down all the way. That's going to be due to the receiver wire underneath. So we are going to play it smart. We got two options here. We can either flatten out the wire and put it underneath, or we can put the wire on top. But you're not too crazy about putting it on top. Might just have to do it like that. Flatten it out. And then put it on the bottom. Because this build looks really clean with nothing on the top. That looks nice like that. I don't know if you guys think it looks nice, but I think it looks nice like that. So I'm going to keep it like that. You don't want these to be really tight. You just want to have them on there enough to just snug it a little bit. Keep doing it. Do it one more time. Yeah, that looks good. Making sure all my wires are straight. This one's not. Dadgummit. Why did you do that? Just one freaking wire. That's alright. Last time here. That one right there. Okay, all three of those are out and in order. All these are out and in order. Alright, that looks good. Alright, now let's go. And the way to really judge how much you need, how tight you need this, you just want to push it down a little bit and then tighten it to the rubber grommet, and that's good. You don't have to push hard, just enough to get it down there, and that's it. Definitely don't want them loose enough to be flopping around. Now you can see I didn't push, I don't have them bulging out. I just got them, I got it to it and to where it's not moving around. And that's what you want. That looks nice and clean right there. I am going to like that for sure. So 533, we got an AIO board on your build. I don't know what you think about that, but you get an AIO board on most of your builds. So now the sad part is I made a nice mount to go up here for my walk snail, but my walk snail's up here. That's the only sad part about that. There is this right here, and I'm not sure. I'm starting to think it's I don't know what that's for. What were we thinking here? Does this go in the back like that? Or does it go like that? I think it does go like that. So that goes in the back like that. Huh. Interesting. So I can run that in there. I think I'm going to do that. If I could do it without breaking it. It's a little tight. There we go. Yeah. So I'm sure it's for something else, but that's how we're going to do it. Oh yeah, that's a neat little mount they got going on there. Huh, interesting. But the only thing is, I'm still afraid that it's going to get in my props like that. So we're going to do this. And run it through this little hole here. And that's going to be perfect for that little antenna there. Yeah. I'll show you what I'm doing here in just a second. I about can't get it. My fingers are way too big for this. Okay. Well, we'll take it off. We'll do it. Good grief, come off there.
Oh my God.
Alright. I was getting that antenna through that hole right there. And that was a pain in the butt to plug it back in. But this is going to make a world of difference. Yeah. I like it. That feels great. Yeah, that looks good like that. Got a little antenna up there on the top for my receiver. It's mounted on the outside. And I got my other antenna right here. That's fine for now. I'd like to mount it on the back, but it's going to have to wait. All I got to do is unscrew it here and here. I can pull that one out. And it's going to work great. Time to wrap this sucker up. I have been working on it long enough. Yeah, I took my time doing this, guys. And the reason why I did is because, you know, I got to looking at my cheat code drone, and I was like, you know what? I really like this drone, but the dang thing looks ugly inside. And I wasn't happy that it looked ugly. And I was like, well, why can't I just have a nice clean build one time? So I said I was going to not hurry through this for everybody else in their satisfaction. I'm going to do this one really nice for my satisfaction. That way I was happy with the build and the end results and everything. I'm cleaning up one solder joint here. Yeah. That's fine there. Okay, so I want to be able to bring this all the way over here and put a zip tie on it exactly right there. Just like that. And I believe I got some nice skinny zip ties somewhere. Throw it on the floor. Oh yeah, there's some nice skinny zip ties. So I'm kind of wondering what this weighs when I get done, because it feels really light. So we're going to weigh it when we get done. So I always do mine like this. I put the box on the inside underneath. There we go. And that looks nice right there. It's nice and clean. You don't want to make them too tight. If you I've had motor problems before by making those too tight. I've tightened them all the way down and it didn't even go through the insulation, but it actually, I had motor problems, so it was doing something. It wouldn't cut all the way through, but it was doing something. Let's go ahead and mount this dangly camera. Tired of dangling it around. So it comes with the mount, CPU for your camera. This is going to go in a center triangle. Center triangle. The center one. Come on now. Get in there. And I say if you're DJI, you turn it one way, and if you're Walksnail or analog or whatever, if you got a nano cam or a mini cam, you turn it the other way. That's just my guess. But that fits in there perfectly with Walksnail. Hey guys, they made this one for Walksnail. I doubt they did, but it fits freaking perfect with Walksnail. I'm going to have to show them this because that is nuts. It just still blows my mind. Is that going to go through? I don't think that's going to go through. No. Is this my camera mount right here? Bolts? Probably. Them camera mount. That ain't camera mount, is it? Let me see here. No, it don't fit my camera. I don't know what them little skitty bolts are for. But it came with little skitty bolts. It could be to mount your camera unit down back there. Which we're not going to mount it back there. Alrighty. I'll be done here in just a second. Sorry it took so long. Yeah. Let's see if these fit. Oh yeah, those are going to be perfect. That is perfect. Might put it on the lower one. It's going to give me more range of motion on the lower one. Huh?
It's full underneath that Christmas tree.
Yeah. A bulging Christmas tree? No.
I know.
Poor Jamie,
I know, I'm always like that.
get no presents this year.
I will too if I have to bump my feet. Where? Like, froze my feet.
Dadgum, that freaking mount is just a tiny bit too short. Just a tiny bit. I mean, too long, I'm sorry. Too long. Just a tiny bit. Dadgum it. Alright. See what we got here. I think I found one by George. One more. Give me one more.
I'm sure my loving husband will knock me into something.
You been nice this year?
Yes. Hey. Ain't killed nobody, have I?
I don't think it counts.
Why?
Because you ain't got killed nobody doesn't mean you've been nice.
I think I did last month.
Yeah. Is that how you justify whether you've been naughty or nice? Is whether you killed somebody or not?
Well, yeah.
Well, how many husbands have you killed, huh?
None.
Okay then.
Well, I ain't beat the shit out of nobody. Is that better?
How many husbands have you beat the shit out of? I don't want to know. Don't even tell me.
You make it sound like I've been married 10 times. You're only my second.
Okay, well, did you beat your other husband?
No, I probably should have beat you twice, but I didn't. So,
I am wondering how this goes.
in the hole.
Well, no shit, it goes in the hole.
Well,
That's freaking obvious.
that'll help. Trying to be a good wife. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Amen. I don't remember if I took my medicine or not. I'll take the yellow, be sure. Bought you some candy, Bubba.
Alright.
Get some new sheets.
That's better. Taking this one out.
Do you know where that Ollie's is?
Ollie's?
Ollie's Barber and Sharper.
I don't even know what Ollie's is.
It's like a discounted store. If that. Anyway, they have this tire pressure thing there that looks like a drill. I was going to buy it, but I didn't. It would be something for me to be useful for me to have.
Is that a hint?
Well, I'm just telling you what I want for Christmas.
You want a tire pressure drill?
Well, I need one, do I not? My tires seem to be going flat a lot here lately.
I guess. You might need a new tire.
That probably does. So I'll have to wait till after New Year, though. Next week's check, it'll be decent just because that $100 bonus I'm getting.
Yeah.
And the week after that will be a good check, and then I won't get no more checks till 2 weeks.
Big Rod, yours is decent.
I think the way inflation and everything, I think I should be getting paid more than $14 an hour. Everybody can survive off that. The only reason I made good freaking overtime. You could used to live off 14 an hour, now you can't. Nobody can.
Alright, so there we go. We got that. And I might save putting my motor plugs on for another video. I got my camera on there though. So now I need my top. And this wax nail is in there tight. Like, it will not come out. So you guys seen how I put that in there. And I think that's pretty cool. I want to think they did that on purpose, but anyways. There's that. And we get 2 screws on that. Or 4 screws, my bad. So that kind of just locks into place over there also. So this is what we're going to do here. Go ahead and strap this down here. And I've got a kind of curious on this top plate about something. I've got this GoPro mount, and kind of shaped just like that. I just had in my hand not too long ago. There it is. That's pretty close to that shape. Oh yeah. All it needs is the two up here. I'm going to have a GoPro mount out very soon. That's a good thing. Loosen that up. Loosen that up. Loosen that up a little bit. Loosen that up a little bit. There we go. That's tight. That's tight. Now, we go on the bottom here. That's tight. That's nice and tight. Go on the top. That's nice and tight. And bam. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Just look at that. Pretty happy with that. We pretty much got the build finished, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish these parts up. Walk snail fits on this thing freaking amazing, like. Now look how that turned out. Look at those wires. That turned out freaking beautiful. They are on there amazing, like. And then Armando and Evan. Look at this. I can't even slide it around. I mean, it's not going. I'm holding it by the camera unit. It is not coming out. There's no way that it's locked in there. Ugh. That sucker is locked in there. I cannot believe that. That's pretty cool, guys. I've got a walk snail. This fits my walk snail perfect. And the reason why I want to finish it so bad tonight is because I want to weigh it. So I'm just going to go ahead and weigh it. And I know, go ahead and make fun of me and my recipe scale. But it's pretty accurate here. Yeah, you ain't gonna believe that. So there's now we'll leave them screws on there. That's got screws on it too. Now we'll go ahead and add a couple bags of screws. Fourth motor. And a couple of plugs on there. Them plugs weigh nothing. They literally weigh nothing. Alright. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Wow, that's crazy. There's no, that's lighter than my UL5. That is crazy. 300 and like 320. So with a battery, that's 520. That's 520 on a freaking freestyle drone. What? This thing's gonna rip, guys. This thing is going to rip. I hope it's durable because this thing is going to be nuts. Wow. This is going to be crazy. So 520, let's say 550. This is 25 grams lighter than my UL5, my cheat code. This is going to be nuts. This is crazy. I can't believe it. Alright guys, so I'm going to continue on and make this real quick. You guys can continue to watch if you want, but I am going to do this pretty quick here.
Yeah.
Guys, I do read the comments. Somebody has commented and said motor plugs reduces the power to your motors. Well, I have not seen any proof of that. If you're going to make that claim, you need to back it up with data. There's a lot of racers that use motor plugs, and they firmly believe in them. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use motor plugs. If you have data that backs up saying that motor plugs reduce the power, I would like to see it. You may say that the brass inside of them is less conductive than the copper. Well, the soldering in them is more conductive because it has silver in the solder. So if there's solder going up into your motor plug, then you have silver going up into your motor plug. So you can argue that one way or another. So while we're waiting on that heating up, so 533, we're doing a video here, and I've noticed something kind of crazy. You see the wax nail in there? Well, that is not mounted down. That's just normal wax nail, and it will not move. I've loosened that up, put it down in there, and tighten it back up, and it ain't going nowhere. It's like this drum was made for wax nail. So, 533, we're doing a video here, and I've noticed something kind of crazy. You see the wax nail in there? Well, that is not mounted down. That's just normal wax nail, and it will not move. Loosen that up, put it down in there, and tighten it back up, and it ain't going nowhere. It's like this drum was made for wax nail. So, 533. we will send that to 533. Yeah, if you guys are wondering why I'm taking my time doing this, I did not make this video to be a fast build or anything like that, quick build. I make these videos to show you everything that I do to do these, everything I go through. I'm doing this one especially slow, being thorough about it, because I want it to look nice when I get done. I could have rushed this procedure. I could have made it a whole lot faster. Oh yeah, that fits beautifully. Make them all that size. Pick it up at Harbor Freight, heat shrink. Put mine all the way out to the end here. Oh yeah, that looks great. Definitely do them all like that. About done. And it moved too fast. Oh, I got them so close there. Get too much solder on that one. That's why I've done that one. There were three big blobs on there. I wasn't too happy with that because they were. It ain't worried about wiping off the just on the frame. I just don't want it on the frame. But as far as on the plug, I ain't really worried about the plug. Alright, there we go, guys. There's my 533 flip switch build. That's what it looks like right there. I am pretty happy with that. I'm very happy with that. I think that's going to rip. And you guys are going to see some flight videos on this. So we went, we built this for 3 hours. So you guys ought to check this out. You ought to get this frame and just try it out and see what you guys think for yourself. There will be a lot of reviews coming out on this, so watch them. And we're going to test motors on this platform. This is going to be a motor testing platform. So first one's going to be the V-Locks, T-Motor V-Locks, which I already know these things rip. But I'm out, guys. Have a good one. Merry Christmas. See you, Great Scott. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you stayed and watched. Hey, you still ain't sent me a Discord invite. It's .Atreides. Get your free 3D print. Take it easy, guys. Share this and like it. Do all that fancy thumbs up. Thank you. Have a good day. Or a good night, actually.